Got it. I'm ready.
I'm gonna angle it. We're gonna hit with the ball of your foot. Remember, don't stop. Go through the board.
All right.
All right, ready? Go! Hey.
Nice job.
Hey guys, welcome to the Made in Semmes podcast, a place where we interview people that were made in Semmes, make things in Semmes, and help us make Semmes who it is today. Today, I'm Kenneth Havens, and I'm here with the McCranie family from McCranie Martial Arts. So we are excited today. We're going to break down a couple different things. We're going to go into how it started, how they ended up in Semmes, and a couple different things, and we might end up break something. So hopefully not myself. So we're here today with Mr. McCranie up here at ATA, and if you don't mind, obviously you're the father of this whole thing. How did you guys get started?
Well, it's a funny story. You see, I had studied karate as a teenager, and I stopped when I started college, and I always wanted to go back. And then one day, my son started taking Taekwondo, and I enjoyed watching him so much every day. And then eventually, my wife liked it so much, she joined. And I couldn't take it anymore. So then I joined, and now about 12 years later, we have our own school, and we're doing our best to make the community the best it can be and to help kids and adults with all their different goals.
That's right. Well, that's awesome. I know that you guys are doing that because my son actually took Taekwondo up here as well. He loved it. He still has his bongi, and he chases me around the house often. So obviously, before we started rolling on the camera, we started talking about the fact of that you're a lawyer as well.
Yes, sir, I am. I've been a lawyer now for way over 30 years. I was a soldier before I became a lawyer, and then I finished up the Army Reserves after 30 years. And in between, we started doing martial arts as a family, and now we have two of our own schools, and
That's
one of them's
awesome.
here in Semmes.
Well, thank you so much for your service. I wanted to ask, so with teaching Taekwondo, I know that there's a couple different forms of martial arts. Taekwondo is one of them, correct? And there's a couple other types of. What was the reason in going with Taekwondo? Is that something that you started with, or was that something that, was there something specific about it that made you lean in that direction?
Well, I started with karate, but my son then got started in Taekwondo, and that gave me more exposure to it. And I think Taekwondo is a superior means of self-defense because it emphasizes the kicks so much. We have the most powerful kicks there are of any martial art, and it's especially good for kids who may be picked on by somebody bigger than them, because if somebody tries to punch them, they can kick back a whole lot harder than anybody can punch them. And it's really superior for girls and women too, because it helps them defend themselves so much better.
Right. Well, I think what was really neat in the process of my son taking the classes is each one of them had like a self-defense. For instance, I remember him like having to like grab the hand, kick, you're not my mom, you're not my dad, in the event that they were actually taken in like a real life situation. And I thought that was really neat that the stuff that y'all are teaching is not just to be able to do the really cool stuff that you guys can do with sticks and nunchucks and stuff like that, but it's also stuff that you can use in real life applications if have to.
Yes, sir, and it works. When I was a teenager, I had the big bully grab me by the wrist, and he was going to punch me out. And I executed one of the self-defense moves we teach, the weak link release, step back, yelled, and he never bothered me again. And at that time, he was probably that much taller than me. I was 15 years old, and he'd failed a couple of grades, and it wasn't going to be pretty.
Well, I've seen some of the stuff that you guys have done in the classes, also in the performances, the belt ceremonies, and I would hate to pick on anybody that comes through this class. So I want to say, if you are a man, a woman, a child, and of any kind, I think that the stuff that you guys teach up here is phenomenal. I think that it's discipline. What's some of the core values of Taekwondo?
Well, we try to teach them all. In fact, the Taekwondo is a means toward an end. We use the martial arts to teach children, less so adults, because adults have other priorities, but we teach children goal setting, which is hugely important.
Right.
We teach them discipline and the need for boundaries, because so often today you see kids that don't have the boundaries they need to behave properly in life.
Right.
We teach them courtesy and respect.
Right.
And the list
Which is definitely needed.
Yes, sir. And the list just goes on and on. That is the main goal. And if you watch our classes for the kids, we always have a lesson in there, a value lesson for them,
Right.
especially the karate kids.
Right. Well, I think that's awesome.
My wife will say this a lot: the family that kicks together stays together. And you'll hear people say the family that kicks together sticks together.
Right.
But to me, what I love about it the most is I get to be with my youngest son and my wife a lot.
Right.
And to me, there's no reward better than that. And what I would encourage people to do, and they don't have to come here, they could go to another martial arts place, but something like this builds your family and brings it together better than most anything else I've ever seen. It truly does.
I would agree. That's really neat. Now, I did take Taekwondo whenever I was younger. I didn't make it very far. I think I become like a yellow belt, but I do still remember some of the stuff. I don't exactly know what happened that I had to quit taking it, but I did think that it was really neat while I was taking it. And I love when Truett was taking it up here and some of the stuff that he learned. I thought that was really cool.
We loved having him here.
All right, guys. So here we're with Dustin McCranie. So before we got rolling, told a funny story. I heard it before. I didn't know if it was true. We just interviewed Mr. McCranie, or Big McCranie, or Grandpa McCranie, whatever the kids want to call him. But so, if you will, tell us a little bit about how you ended up here at McCranie ATA.
So when I was a kid, I was 6 years old. I watched Avatar, the animated show.
Okay.
That got me started. And when I was 6, I started taking at another school. That school closed, so we had to find another school. That's the first ATA school I went to the next time. It's a funny story. I actually started there because we went to watch Kung Fu Panda when it went out at the movie theaters.
Right.
And there was a school there, and they were doing demos, all right? And they had a little special or whatever, and we signed up after that, and that's how I got started in the ATA. Worked there for a while, but I kind of got burnt out a little bit. Didn't quite like the way I was having to teach. It wasn't as fun anymore.
Right.
All right, so that's when I knew I wanted my own school, so I could get my system in that I knew that would work, knew that would help kids out.
Right.
And that was the goal with that starting here.
So the funny story that I heard was the fact that you may have started classes at South Alabama and canceled them shortly in. Can you tell us that story?
Well, I love learning stuff, but school, sometimes if I didn't feel like it was going to help me out in the long run, it kind of got my interest down a little bit. So I started classes because I knew I needed to do it to at least try it out, give it a shot.
Right.
Well, after a couple of weeks in there, I was doing the same stuff I was doing at high school. Now, kids, not saying that you shouldn't go to school or anything like that. School's very important depending on what you want to do. It wasn't helping me run my business at all. I wasn't learning anything new. So I called my mom in the middle of class. I was like, hey, this just isn't it. And she said, we'll go home and talk about it. Well, I thought about it. I was like, it's just not it. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I could be better using my energy at the school, helping kids out, making new black belt leaders, all right, and helping kids out. So I kind of nixed those classes that day. I made it a cool 2 weeks in there.
So he is a ex South Alabama student, and so the story I got, you came in the door, Chalet that was working at the desk. It was like, hey, if you will go in there for me, cancel those classes, and we'll deal with Big McCranie whenever he comes in.
That's pretty much it. That was almost a quote right there. That's how we did it.
How did he take it?
Not too well.
I didn't figure so.
But I had Mama on my side.
There
so.
you go. As long as you got Mama Bear with you, I think you can just about accomplish anything. I think that what you guys have is a awesome business model. I think what y'all are doing, what we try to do, we're a garbage company, obviously A1 McDuffie Sanitation, but we tell our guys all the time, and the employees that we have and our customer base in the community, we're not a garbage company. We're a people company that offers a garbage service. And when you can do that and your business model helps people, you're set up to succeed. Obviously, there's got to be a need for it, and obviously there's a need for it. But just seeing the way that y'all operate, the way that y'all engage with the kids, engage with the parents, have stuff for them, and some of the stuff that I've seen y'all do, y'all have parents' night out. So one, that I think that's for the kids, but also y'all see the need for parents to be able to spend time with one another, and I appreciate that. So I love the business model that y'all have. Can you tell us a little bit? So we're obviously here in Semmes, Alabama. Do you have any other locations or any projects to expand in the near future?
We actually do. So we had the Semmes location. We had it for a couple of years. 2 years ago, 2019, we opened our location in Hurley, Mississippi. Run Airport Boulevard, 10, 15 minutes past, or a couple minutes past the state line. You're right there. We're actually expanding that location. It's in contract now. So next month we're going to a much bigger location there.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's
gonna be
really cool.
That's gonna be really exciting. We've got one more interview after this. We're gonna interview Miss McCranie as well. But if you will, if people want to follow you specifically, how do people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Post some cool stuff on there sometimes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is just raw as it can be. When Truett wanted to take karate or taekwondo, we brought him in. He was really excited about it, and I was like, this is something cool for my kid to do. It was just kind of one of those things where I thought it was, they'll learn a little self-defense, a little karate, a little this. But whenever I came to y'all's belt ceremony and watched you guys perform, watching Mr. Chappell, I forget a couple of the other instructors' names, but what you guys were able to do is phenomenal. And it just shows me if you're dedicated to it, you take the time, you focus, and you're persistent, you can pretty much do anything.
Yes,
and
sir.
your body's. There's some of the people that jumped up, did some of them kicks that I just don't feel like they should have been able to do that. But I was really impressed, to say the least. Thank you so much for letting me interview you today.
Yes, sir.
And look forward to doing stuff with y'all in the future.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, guys, so we saved the best for last, is what I heard her say anyways. This is Miss McCranie up here at ATA. And if you will, tell me a little bit about your background. We talked a little bit before. Normally I don't do a whole lot of that, but tell me about your background and how you ended up here.
Yes, sir. I am a retired school teacher, so I taught for 24 years, and I just wasn't happy anymore, so I retired. I knew I love children.
Right.
I have to be with children. I couldn't work at a bank. I couldn't do anything else. I had to be with children. So I just felt like Taekwondo was a passion of mine, and it was something that I loved to do. Spoke with both of my son and my husband about maybe opening up a school, and at the time we were at another location, but we were just something that we were very passionate about. So I turned my teaching math and science into kicking and punching and self-defense.
I've seen the way that you interacted with the kids while they were up here. The kids have the utmost respect for you and your family. Now it makes a lot of sense, the way you're able to interact with the kids, and the way that there's some people that tolerate kids and there's some people that love them, and I can tell that you're one of the people that actually love children.
Kids. I have a passion for children, and I want to see them learn and be leaders in the community, and I feel my niche right here.
That's so awesome.
happy.
So obviously, so you've been part of the community for a really long time, and with the multiple locations and stuff like that, what's some of y'all's focus moving forward in advancing?
In advancing the schools, well, we're hoping, and we are getting bigger. We're bursting at the seams right now. This school is over 4,000 square feet, and we're busting at the seams right now. Maybe in the near future we'll be expanding this one, and like Mr. McCranie said, that we're expanding the Hurley location. We're growing up there, and we want to empower children. A big thing that I like to do is women's self-defense. I think that's very important. I love to empower women and give them the tools they need to protect themselves as well as children. So it's just something that we want to do, continue growing. We are in the schools, not because of the pandemic last year,
Right.
but we go into the schools and we teach children self-defense,
Right.
and how to defend themselves.
If you will, tell us a little bit about the women empowerment part. What's some of the classes up here? So we've talked about my son taking it. We've talked about women. We've talked about, children. Can you tell us a little bit about the classes that y'all offer here?
Sure. We have, of course, we started age 3 with our Tiny Tiger program. That's what Truett was in.
Okay.
And then we go into our Karate Kid program, starts at age 6. And then we go into our Teen Adult program, which is ages 13 and up. And I'm 59, and Mr.
We'll edit
McCranie's
that
in his
part out.
60s.
We'll edit that part out too.
So, I mean, it's good for everybody. You can start at 3 all the way to 103. People will come in here and say, am I too old? No, you're never too old.
Right.
Because we're not just learning karate or taekwondo moves. You're learning self-defense moves. You're learning, you're feeling good about your body and getting confidence and self-esteem, things that you didn't have before. I didn't have confidence and self-esteem before I started taekwondo. I do now.
Absolutely.
I can do it.
And y'all have every reason to.
I can do it.
That's
awesome. We
awesome.
are state champions, we're district champions, we're world champions, and we actually midtermed last Saturday toward our 5th degree. So we're approaching our 5th degree, and we'll be testing for that. Dustin, Mr. McCranie will actually next year, and then Bill and I the following year.
That's awesome. And this might be a crazy question. I just don't know. How many degrees of black belt? How many can you advance? Is there a limit to where you
There are nine degrees, starting at white belt all the way up to 9th degree black belt, and Grandmaster is a 9th degree black belt. So maybe one day.
Now, as far as it goes, is there ever any time at the house where y'all use karate? You know what I'm saying, to settle a dispute or anything like that in the house?
Now, we used to spar years ago. We used to spar. Mama knows.
That's right.
Mama's the queen.
Your children don't. For women out there, your children do not backtalk if you take karate. So I think that if you tell us a little bit about the time that you and Mr. McCranie had to spar at one of the events. Do you remember much about that?
We were midterming, actually. I think it was for our 3rd degrees, and you spar who you get paired with. And when he said turn and face your partners, it happened to be Mr. Big McCranie, and so you do what they tell you to do.
Who won?
So, I don't know.
Good decision. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. But hey, that's funny. That's awesome. So speaking of sparring, I think it'd be pretty funny if Big McCranie and Little McCranie maybe went at it and see who still got it. What do you think? Thank you for watching the Made in Semmes podcast. If you will, for more information, go to their website, check them out on Facebook, awesome family, and let them know that you saw them on the Made in Semmes podcast. Thank you for watching today, and check back for more videos. Thanks.